Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and welcome to This Week in Hearthstone, week number 5, our weekly news recap series where we take a look at all the events and goings on in the world of Hearthstone in the past week. And we had a bit of drama in our top story this week, a little bit more on the light side of things, but something that I feel people should at least be aware of is one of the game designers working on the team, Cora, you might know her as like a former caster. Well, she took to Twitter this week and basically went public about, someone threatening her. Whether it was a troll or just a joke, regardless, we'll take a look here. Basically what happened is there was a new launch in BGs this week where there's new heroes, a couple new minions added, and Micro Mummy was like breaking the game. It was forcing the game to crash, and someone slid into her DMs, literally, I'll show the tweet here, said to her to fix the bleeping game, why are you so bleeping stupid, and put minions into BGs that simply bleeps the game up. Take the minion, fix it, put it back in. It's not rocket science. I lost 2 games in a row now, thanks for that. I will throw a cat at you if I see you in person. Well, that's kind of a threat. Threatening not only her well-being, but a cat's. And as a cat owner, I do not really appreciate this, but in all seriousness, I think these messages are just so toxic, so not helpful. And Cora made it lighthearted about it, kind of made a joke about it, and then she followed up even on it, saying that she responded to the guy, trying to be like, you could see that he's a parent and all this. Hopefully he could be more responsible and handle things more, maturely. Put these messages to your kids growing up and all of that. And, it's just a mild inconvenience. And then the guy blocked her. He blocked her on Twitter, so Cora could no longer ever communicate with this perfect, delightful gentleman. And I just thought I'd highlight this just to show like the dumb stuff that devs have to deal with. And you gotta imagine it's a hell of a lot worse than this. But still, just any threat, like even if it's something as stupid as throwing a cat at somebody, it's still like literally a threat. It's a threat of violence against her, an animal. And it's just kind of scary. Like, I don't know. I know it's probably just a dumb troll, a dumb joke, but imagine when you get these kind of messages for something that's literally completely out of her control. It's not like Cora's the one that, tested exactly Micro Mummy, and it goes into the game, and the patch is badly deployed, and it's her fault. Like, she just works as a card designer. It's kind of crazy, so highlight that there. Be nice to these people. We may have issues with card design, with issues with the game and all that, but don't go onto social media, don't flame people, don't give them crap like this, especially in their DMs. Like, if you have a problem, take to a forum, take to Twitter, constructively put it out there. And it was just kind of spooky, and I just thought I'd highlight that there. Our next story this week was the launch of the Forbidden Library Skullman's Academy event occurred this week, so if you logged in, you'll note that there was updated Battlegrounds parties and Skullman's heroes added. So there's like Jandis, Lord Barov, and Omu, new heroes. I'm not going to go too much into detail about them, but Omu and Jandis are really broken. Barov kind of sucks. It's like a gambling machine. And there was a Mega Wild Bundle added to the shop. We went over that in a video earlier this week. I'll put it in the description below, or like a thumb card there if you want to check it out. Kind of determined that it's not the best value. It's only good value in terms of dust, not really putting your collection. But again, you can check the video out for that. Next week, there'll probably be more substantial stuff to go over as the adventure will be coming out. So that'll be interesting to see. But there's a lot of stuff to go on with Battlegrounds this weekend. Typically, I don't go over that stuff too much, but there was kind of a big controversy with Battlegrounds. So I mentioned they added the new party system. And, well, you can play in parties of 4. You can play with your friends. And that's pretty cool, right? Well, you can play this in competitive ranked mode. You can team up in a group of 4. And people at high level ladder have already figured out that if you team up in BGs and you work together, you get an insane advantage over the other 4 people in the lobby, which are typically going to be solo queue players. It's not like you're going 4v4. It's 4v1v1v1v1. So, like, it's creating kind of like this competitive integrity issue where ladder, like the rank MMR doesn't matter that much because, well, people are just kind of, it's not really cheating, but they're abusing the queue system to gain an advantage. And, well, they announced a tournament. There's going to be a tournament based off of top 16 MMR that will be able to qualify and play in a Battlegrounds tournament. So they basically destroy the integrity of their MMR system and ladder with this whole system. And now they're actually giving competitive incentive to be top tier. So now, if you want to compete at that high level, you kind of have to queue up in parties, which is just ridiculous. It's a single player mode. It's one rank for one player. It just doesn't... It seems like a gross oversight to me. People went onto Reddit about this. There was like a thread on both the Hearthstone subreddit and the Battlegrounds there's like a Bob subreddit, and Ixar went on there to respond that they are looking into it. They're evaluating the data, like, you know, the win rates, how much higher are the party members and all that. And then I think another dev kind of broke down the numbers they had analyzed, and they had said like top like 7,500 MMR people are only gaining like a plus 12% advantage, which is insane. That is a lot. Is a lot. Whatever the number was, I don't know if it was 12% or like 6.5%, but it was like a substantial number. But they wrote it off as not much, but I believe RDU tweeted, like, if it was 1%, that would be an incredible advantage. And instead, it's much bigger than that. And people are really not happy with it in the BG scene. And I don't think it looks good on Blizzard to be screwing with competitive integrity on an MMR ladder for the sake of introducing party systems to casuals. It's pretty simple. You can just make a separate queue for party players. Like, you just don't play on the regular MMR ladder, but they'd have to implement that feature. Hopefully they'll assess this and address it sooner than later, because if there's tournament stuff on the line, it's really crummy that these players are forced to play in groups and, you know, have to set that all up rather than just use their own skill and merit in Battlegrounds. Our next development is our weekly meta report, and this week the nerfs did go live. They went live. We had Secret Passage nerfed down to 4 cards. Dark Glare went down to a 2-mana 2/3, and it only refreshes 1 mana crystal when you take damage rather than 2. And we saw a nerf to Cabal Acolyte going to a 2/4 rather than a 2/6. How much did this affect the meta in Standard? Not a lot. The meta is very much the same. Secret Passage is still insane in Rogue. Cabal Acolyte still really good in Priest. And surprisingly, Dark Lair is still very strong, even in Standard. The deck I want to highlight this week is a rank 1 Legend Zulok. Recently, I think Norwis hit rank 1 Legend with this. It's got Dark Lair. It's based on the discard synergies. You have like Hand of Gul'dan, all that kind of stuff. You cheat out Flesh Giants, and Dark Lair isn't really the build around anymore. It's just a good card in the deck that can let you do good stuff. But yeah, it's actually doing quite well. And the top decks in Standard are very similar. We have Mage and Rogue with Created By, Priest with Galakron and Created By, and Soul Demon Hunter is doing very well. It's picking up in popularity as well. This most recent build I'll highlight here, people are using Wand Maker and Horde Pillager, getting their weapons back, and there has been success with it, and it did very well at the Masters Tour event this weekend as well, which I'll talk about. So yeah, Standard, not much of a shift, but a little bit of one. And in Wild, much bigger shift. Dark Lair being nerfed there was a very big deal. Dark Lair Warlock is not really so much a thing anymore, but Dark Lair in Discard Zulok in Wild is also still very good. That deck is very powerful. I mean, it was powerful before the nerfs, and now you can throw Dark Lair in there for extra mana cheat and just a good value. Good minion to play on too. And yeah, the main story in Wild is Quest Mage and Reno Priest are the kings again. Quest Mage can actually play again because Dark Lair doesn't lock it out. Still struggles with aggro, but it's very popular on ladder. And Reno Priest is undisputably, in my opinion, the best deck in Wild. I've seen a little bit of pop-up of some Druid decks, like Malagos Druid, Togwoggle Druid. They're doing pretty well. Token Druid, like the aggro Token Druid with like Embiggen, is quite popular. And there's just a lot of different stuff to play in Wild. It's just all very similar to what was popular before the expansion came out, basically. The meta is basically back to pre-Scholomance, with, like, you know, Reno Priestess being a lot better than it was before because of Polkel. So yeah, the meta feels very samey. It's not the most exciting thing in the world in Wild, but it's not completely busted in the way that Dark Lair dictated everything. And if we want to see a real meta shift happen in Wild that we haven't seen in like the last half year, basically we're going to have either wait for the next expansion to come out and break the game again like a Dark Lair deck, or there has to be actual balance changes, particularly towards Quest Mage or Reno Priest, to really see a shift. Not sure we're going to see that. I'm not really pitching too hard on that, but that's what we would have to see if we would want to see that kind of change. And the last news story of the week we'll take a look at is the Masters Tour online event that happened. It's Masters Tour Online Montreal, I believe. They're all online because of the whole COVID situation. And yeah, it's a 3-day event, and basically these events are used to basically determine who the next Grandmasters will be. We had a very diverse top 8 this week. We had quite a few different faces that I am not too aware of. We had Lightning. We had Lambie Series, who I'm actually pretty familiar with, a good competitive player. We had VK Lion, our defending world champion. She made the final 8. Drivo, Cagnetta 99, Frenetic, Dreadeye, and Xiao Dai all made the final 8. I believe it ended up being Frenetic taking it home, winning the weekend, winning the top prize pool. And because he's from Spain in the EU region, that region is so competitive that he's not guaranteed a Grandmaster spot quite yet. The next Masters Tour event, I believe, is in Madrid. It'll probably be online, though. And depending on how that goes, Frenetic will either become the next GM or not. Very likely to, but not guaranteed. And there was quite an interesting little controversy as well at the Masters Tour. In a game between Cagnetta and Drivo, there was a missed lethal that occurred simply because of a visual bug. Effectively, what happens is there's an issue in the game right now where Galakrond, if you've played it, will sometimes show an incorrect armor amount. So I'm showing the screenshot here. It shows Drivo at 5 armor and 4 health. There was a 3-attack minion on board. Cagnetta had Shadow Madness, and his Galakrond hero power could have hit him for 6, and it would have killed him because he was actually at 4 health. But he thought he was at 9, so he missed the lethal. And then he ended up losing the game. But thankfully he won the series, so it didn't matter. But yeah, this was quite the talk about on Twitter, and it's really not a good look for a competitive Hearthstone game to be determined by the outcome of a bug. So hopefully they get that one patched up, but yeah, congratulations to Frenetic for winning the tournament, and all the people that got top 8 was a solid showing, and believe the Grandmasters event, or the Grandmasters League will continue next week, so we'll keep you updated on that. And that's this week in Hearthstone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Just a friendly reminder, if you're not subbed to the channel, nearly 65% of viewers are not subbed yet. So if you've been enjoying the content, please consider subbing today. It helps the channel a lot, and you can get notified for when these videos go live. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.